Hey guys, it's Michael from newtohtml.com, and I thought I'd kick this video series off with an introduction to CSS, giving you a basic overview of what CSS is, the syntax of CSS, and how you can apply it to your style sheets. But before I actually get into the tutorial, I've been getting quite a few requests for PHP and JavaScript tutorials. Now I do plan to create those tutorials, but at the moment I'm focusing exclusively on HTML and the CSS. But I encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel for when I do put forward those tutorials. So let's get into the tutorial. So what is CSS? So CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, is basically an extension. I like to think of it as an extension of HTML. It allows you to customize the overall layout, the look, the style, the colors that you see on your web pages. For example, if you look on the new to HTML site right now, you notice that when I hover over a link, it changes to yellow. You notice that these links over here are green. You notice that the heading is gray and the paragraph of text is slightly spaced out. Well, CSS allows you to do all of that. It gives you full control over the presentation of elements on your web page. That's just basically a simple overview of what it is. So let me minimize this and get into some actual tutorials, some actual CSS. So I'll start off with the standard HTML tags. And if you haven't gotten used to HTML as yet, I highly recommend that you start with the tutorials on the website. Because really and truly you should know HTML before jumping into CSS. Let me add a title. This should all be familiar stuff, HTML. So let me save this. I created a folder on the desktop called tutorial. Save it as webpage.html. Change my save as type to all types. And hit save. Now there are three ways that you can actually create style sheets on your web pages. The one that we're going to be using is the external style sheet. But for other types, you can check out the tutorial on the website. I think it's this page, style sheet types, where you can see how we apply the different style sheets to our web pages. So this is the format that we're using. We're using an external style sheet. So I'll create that right now. We use what's known as the link. Let me explain this. So this is basically saying that we're talking about a style sheet, that we're referencing an external style sheet which I'm about to create. This just tells it that it's CSS, and this provides a link to our style sheet. Notice style.css. So I'll create that style sheet right now. To create a style sheet is actually simple. Just save this as style.css. It must be in the same folder as the web page that's referencing it. Save it as all types, and we're good to go. So this is actually referencing the style sheet. Now if I'm to access the folder and the web page, this is the web page. At the moment it's quite blank, but I'm going to add some HTML code and style it up with some CSS. So here I'm applying a simple heading and paragraph tag. I'll hit save, go to the browser and refresh. And here it is, nothing special, just a heading on a paragraph, by default headings are bold, and by default paragraph does not have any specific formatting to it, unlike the heading tag. But it's not styled as yet, so I'm about to do that right now. So I head over to the style sheet. Now to style elements in CSS, you specify the element you want to style, followed by the opening and closing squiggly bracket. And then you apply all the properties and values that you want to apply to this particular element. So for example, to change the element blue, we apply the property color and the value blue. Let's hit save, go to the browser and refresh, and there it is. So you notice the heading is now blue. There are a lot of properties that you can apply to headings. So let's apply another one. For example, font style, italic, which will make the text appear in italics. There it is. Another one could be text decoration, which we use to apply an underline. Hit save and refresh. There it is. You can also apply styles to the body of your HTML document. When you apply a style to the body of the HTML document, anything between the body tags will be styled. So let's show you that. Let's apply a background color of black. This is the hexadecimal for black, of course. Hit save, refresh, and there it is. But you can't exactly see this text right now, this paragraph, but nothing we can change. Let's style the paragraph. Let's say have a color white. This is the hexadecimal for white. Hit save, refresh, and there it is. So there's a lot of things you can actually do with CSS. There's also something called an ID and class, and the purpose of ID and classes are more specifically when you're styling the layout of your web pages. IDs are unique, so you can only have one ID per page, while classes are not unique, you can have multiple classes per page. To create an ID, let's apply an ID to the paragraph. Let's call it test, for example. Hit save, go back in the style sheet, this tells the CSS that we're talking, the web page that we're talking about, ID, and let's change the color. Let's say color red. Hit save, refresh. There it is, red. So you'll notice that even though specify the color of paragraphs to be white, this ID that we applied changes the color to red because we made a specification here that it should overwrite, what it sees before. So IDs are typically used to create divisions. When you are styling a web page, and anything between the division is usually styled based on what is specified in the CSS. So if we have several heading tags, several H4 heading tags, for example, and let me copy this again. Let's even throw a link in the mix. Let's call it testing. Hit save, and then we target this ID, which is test2, and let's put a color yellow. Let's also say we want a 1 pixel border that's going to be white surrounding it, and hit save. Go to the browser and refresh. There you'll notice we have our border of 1 pixels and our text is in yellow. This is a link. By default, links are blue, so it was not changed to yellow as I specified in the style sheet. But again, that's something that we can adjust. We can target the link specifically to change it to yellow. And let me hit save. Right here I'm saying I'm targeting the anchor tags, which is the link tag, which is also found within the test2 ID. Refresh, and there I go. Everything is yellow. So you can, this is a very basic example, but you can take this and create amazing layouts such as this. So this is just an introduction video, guys, and I hope you learned from it. If you want to see more CSS tutorials, I definitely can show you some more, as well as some tips and tricks to code efficiently with CSS. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tutorials, and look out.